All praises to the Most High, Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rahaha Qadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and elder bishops of Great Millstone who rule well. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, scattered throughout the four corners of the earth, laboring in His truth in all sincerity. Psalm 113 and 6 in the Lashawan Qadash. I'm going to start with the KJV first. Who humbleth himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in the earth? Psalm 113 and 6 in the YLT, or the Young's Literal Translation. He is humbling himself to look on the heavens and on the earth. Psalms 113 and 6 in the Lashawan Qadash. Hamashapayalia, La Ra'awath, Ba Shemayim, Wa Ba Aratazah. The one who humbleth himself, he who humbleth himself. So this can either read it as the one who humbleth himself or he who humbleth himself. And once again, that is Hamashapayalia, to behold or to look, La Ra'awath, on or in the heavens, Ba Shemayim, and on or in the earth, Wa Ba Aratazah. So once again, who humbleth himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in the earth. YLT, he is humbling himself to look on the heavens and on the earth. Hamashapayalia, La Ra'awath, Ba Shemayim, Wa Ba Aratazah. So let's come here for a quick second. All right, so Hamashapayalia, the meaning in Hebrew. And the pronunciation that I gave it just now was the pronunciation in the ancient Hebrew. But AI Overview says, this is a Hebrew word that translates to the one who brings low or the one who humbles. It is a combination of the definitive article ha, meaning the, and the active causative participle, form of the root shapal, which means to be low, humbled, or brought low. So it says in classical and biblical Hebrew, this exact grammatical form appears in Psalm 113 and 6 of the Old Testament. The verse reads, who, and in brackets they have the one, humbles himself to look upon the heavens and the earth. And if you remember, this is what we went over in Psalms 113 and 5. And you're going to notice the Hama here, or the Psalm 113 and 5, the one who is on high, or he who is on high. And this was Hamagabayaya. So you're going to notice the Hama there in the beginning, which means it can be translated as he who or the one who, which you won't really see that when you're looking in the blue letter. In the blue letter, it only gives you the root. So we see here Shapal or Sapal, as they would say. Let's see how it's pronounced in the modern Hebrew.
Strong's H8213, Shaphael.
Okay, so what I have highlighted right there, that is the actual root, and they pronounce it as Shaphel. Here in the more modern Hebrew, that is the extension, and this is where, when you're pronouncing this in the ancient Paleo Hebrew, this is Hamashapayalia. Now, we look at the yah at the very end of the word here, at the very end of that phrase, I should say. The yah is what I want to focus on. Let's come back to verse 6. So, once again, this means the one who humbleth himself. You notice here in the blue letter they have who humbleth, and in brackets right below it they have himself. In the Young's literal translation, it is he is humbling himself. So once you see when you see here, the one who humbleth himself, and right here where I have it highlighted, reading from right to left, the very first two letters there is Hama. But if you're reading the entire word, it's Hamashapaya. Hamashapayal Yah. Now the reason for the Hama there, Hama, Ha meaning the Ma, you can look at this as the one who. We know that who is Maya in the ancient Hebrew, the way that you would say who is Maya. So when you see Hama there at the beginning of the verb, it's the one who or he who. So here when you see the Yah at the very end of this, that Yah there, and I'm going to read what's in AI overview. And we all know that AI overview, it's basically a database. And as you're asking a question or you're doing a search, the way the database works is it does a quick scroll through of everything that it has in its registry. The answers that are most common is what they present to you as potential answers as to what you're looking for. So, my question was, why is the Yod at the end of Hamashapayalya in Psalms 113 and 6? The Yod with the Sherek vowel at the end of Hamashapayalya in Psalms 113 and 6 is a specific grammatical feature in biblical Hebrew known as the Herek Compaginis, or the connecting Herek. 1. These are the results it gave me. It has no semantic meaning. In standard Hebrew, adding a yod suffix typically denotes possession, meaning my, or a first person prenominal suffix. However, translating it that way here makes no sense. It would translate to my humbler, or the one who humbles me. The medieval Jewish grammarians and modern linguists agreed that the yod should not be translated. It does not change the meaning of the word. I'll read that last sentence again. The medieval Jewish grammarians and modern linguists agreed that this yod should not be translated. It does not change the meaning of the word. The base word is simply a masculine singular hefil participle, meaning the one who humbles himself. Poetic archasing, stylistic choice. Linguists recognize the Herek Compaginis as a remnant of an ancient archaic case ending from earlier Semitic languages. In the context of the Book of Psalms, the author uses it deliberately as a poetic device. By adding this letter, the psalmist is purposely archasing the language, employing an elevated classical and formal poetic style to make the text sound majestic, ancient, and solemn. 3. Creating a rhythmic chain. Psalm 113 features a beautiful poetic rhythm across verses 5 through 9, where several consecutive participles are deliberately given the same stylistic yod ending to create an intentional rhyming cadence. So, needless to say, these particular results here, they really make no sense. If you believe that this stuff is added there just for stylistic purposes, or just to give it a rhyming cadence, then I guess that's your own prerogative if that's what you actually want to believe. The summary answer, the letter Yod at the end of Hamashapah Yah is a compagonous. It is a silent, untranslated grammatical suffix used by the biblical scribe purely as an elevated poetic device to create rhyme, rhythm, and an ancient majestic tone across the verses. Now, once again, this is why I say that just simply doesn't make any sense. Because if it is a silent, untranslated grammatical suffix, then how is it being used to create rhyme, rhythm? If it's silent and it's not enunciated when you're reading it or reciting it, then how is it being used by the biblical scribe purely as an elevated poetic device to create rhyme and rhythm? So no, it's not there unpronounced. That Yah at the end, or the Yod as they would say, at the end of the verse here, that Yod right there, the Yah sound, that is enunciated, that is pronunciated, that is Hamashapah Yah. That is there for a reason. Once again, the Hama at the beginning of this denotes that this is about the Most High, Yahweh, the one who humbleth himself. That is the reason why Hama, meaning the one who or he who. The Yod at the very end is this. And this is a app that I use. This is actually one of the first apps that I started using to understand the language itself and what each one of these letters actually represents. So pronounced Yah is the 10th letter of the ancient Hebrew alphabet. The numerical value for the Yah letter is 10. Yah comes from the root word pronounced Yod, which means hand, arm, work, worship, he or my. So this is why when you see the Most High's name, Yahweh, he exists, or he is, or he is, or he was, he to be. It's the same thing with the Messiah, the Son's name, Yahweh Shai. He is the deliverer. So once you're looking at this again, for lack of a better word here, or for lack of a better phrase, I'm going to say that this final Yah here, or Yod that you're looking at, it's pronounced, it's actually enunciated in this. Unlike what it said over there in Google AI overview where it says it's not pronounced, it's just there for stylistic purposes. Once again, it says here it is a silent, untranslated grammatical suffix, and that's just simply not true. This is there to denote that the speaker, King David in this particular instance, he is telling you that the one who humbleth himself, this is the Most High, Yahweh. He does these things by his hand. He does these works by his hand, his arm. This is why, you look here and this is what it actually means. Hand, arm, work. So these things that he does, he stretches out, with his strong hand, with his strong arm, he stretches it out. This is how the Israelites were delivered from ancient Israel. And if you read the entirety of, how they were delivered from ancient Egypt. Salaki on that, from ancient Egypt. So if you read this verse in its entirety, it goes back into that. Obviously, once you pass verse 6, he lifts the poor up from the dust and the needy from the garbage dump. He sets them among princes, even the princes of his own people. He gives the childless women a family, making her a happy mother. Praise Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And if you notice here, the very next verse, Yahweh's deliverance of Israel from Egypt. I'm sorry, the very next chapter, chapter 114, it goes into this. So what we're reading here in chapter 113, this is a verse about, for some reason my app is moving kind of slow here. But if we're reading this, let's go back to chapter 113. Yahweh Bashem Hawashai exalts the humble. And so once we read these verses here, we can see that he lifts the poor from the dust and the needy from the garbage dump. He sets them among the princes, even the princes of his own people. He gives the childless woman a family, making her a happy mother. Praise Yahweh Bashem Hawashai. And then once again, once we look at Psalm 114, we see that the very next chapter goes back into how the Most High Yahweh Bashem Hawashai delivered his people from the house of bondage, or Egypt. And so that's exactly what this is. When you see this symbol here at the end, which is what we saw in verse 5, we're seeing it again in verse 6. I believe we're going to see it again in verse 7 and verse 8. This here, when you see the Hama at the beginning, meaning the one who, or he who, Masha, Mashapayal Yah, the Yah at the end, denotes the hand. It's the Most High. It's by his hand. It's by his hand that these things happen. Let's see if I can find that. I believe that's Ezekiel 20, if I'm correct. I'll look it up. I want the one that's in Ezekiel. That's Ezekiel 30, not 20. Okay. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, our power, behold, I am against Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, and will break his arms, the strong, and that which was broken, and I will cause the sword to fall out of his hand. Salakia, that was not the verse. Let's just use the one in Deuteronomy. It was Ezekiel 20. All right. This is the one I'm looking for. Salakia once again. And I will bring you out from the people, and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered, with a mighty hand, and with a stretched out arm, and with fury poured out. And that is exactly what this is saying here. When you see that yod at the end of the word, this is spoken of the Most High, and this is exactly how he's going to do it. In this particular case here, we come back to Isaiah 113, Psalm 113 and 6. So he stoops down to look on the heaven and on earth. He lifts the poor from the dust and the needy from the garbage dump. He sets them among princes, even the princes of his own people. He gives the childless woman a family, making her a happy mother. Praise Yahweh Bashem Hawashai. How does he do this? He do this with his stretched out arm, his stretched out hand. This is his works. This is the Most High Yahweh at work. This is the things that he causes. And so this is exactly why when you see this particular way that is written here, the one who humbleth himself to behold on the heavens and on the earth. This is the Most High. The speaker here, King David, is saying the Most High is so righteous that he humbles himself to actually look down and behold, to see the things that's happening on the earth. And he raises the meek, he raises the poor, he raises his people who are being oppressed out of that condition. And how does he do that? He does that with his strong arm, his strong hand. And that's exactly why it's written like this. Hamashapayal Yah, with the Yah at the end. So once again, when you come across these particular things here, and then you come across something like, Google AI overview, you have to always understand that Google AI overview is only giving you a summation of everything that it's gone through, and these are the most common answers. So these are the ones that it throws out in front of you first. So when you see summary answer, the letter Yod at the end of Hamashapayalia, it is a silent, untranslated grammatical suffix used by the biblical scribe purely as an elevated poetic device to create rhyme, rhythm. But if it's silent, then how can it create rhyme or rhythm? So, that's incorrect there. That's there for a purpose. It's almost like it's a signature. It's a signature or a calling card, so to speak. And it is pronounced, and it is to let you know that these things that are going to happen, this deliverance is going to be by the strong arm of the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. So with that being said, I'll read this one more time. KJV, YLT, and then the Lashawan Qadash, and we'll close out with that. Psalm 113 and 6. Who humbleth himself to behold the things that are in heaven and in the earth. Psalm 113 and 6. YLT. He is humbling himself to look on the heavens and on the earth. Lashawan Qadash. Hamashapayalia. La Ra'awath. Ba Shamayam. Wa Ba Arataza. I pray this has been edifying and reaches the ears it's supposed to reach. Shalom.